There was a moment he didn't expect it to feel like that. Nothing dramatic happened. No bad news, no sudden event. Just an ordinary afternoon. Quiet, calm, and then a simple thought crossed his mind. How many more times will I do this? The same walk, the same routine, the same conversations. And for the first time, he didn't feel like time was endless. He felt it, moving, quietly. And what he realized in that moment was something he had never truly faced before. There would be a last time. For many things in his life, he just didn't know when. Time feels very different when people are young. There always seems to be more of it. More mornings, more opportunities, more future waiting somewhere ahead. And because of that, many people live with a quiet assumption. There will always be another chance. Another dinner, another visit, another phone call, another walk, another season. And for many years, that assumption feels natural. Life repeats itself constantly. Routines continue. People remain nearby. Days blend together so easily that time almost feels invisible. But after decades caring for older adults, I've noticed something important. There often comes a moment when time suddenly feels real. Not frightening, not dramatic, just real. The man experienced this during a very ordinary afternoon walk. The sunlight was soft, the neighborhood quiet, leaves moving gently in the wind. Nothing unusual at all. And yet, as he walked slowly along the familiar sidewalk, a strange awareness appeared. He had walked this same path hundreds of times before, maybe thousands. But suddenly, instead of feeling routine, it felt temporary. That feeling stayed with him. Later that evening, he sat quietly near the living room window, night settling slowly outside, the room dim except for a small lamp nearby. Thinking, reflecting, trying to understand why that thought affected him so deeply. And slowly, he realized something uncomfortable. For most of his life, he had experienced time automatically, without noticing it clearly. Days passed, years passed, people changed, but internally, he still imagined there would always be enough time later. Enough time to reconnect, enough time to travel, enough time to say certain things, enough time to enjoy life more fully, someday. But aging changes awareness, not only physically, emotionally too. The future no longer feels endless. And because of that, ordinary moments begin carrying different emotional weight. The next morning, he woke before sunrise, the bedroom still dark and silent. He remained beneath the blanket for several moments, staring quietly at the ceiling. Not anxious, just thoughtful. Eventually, he turned over slowly and sat at the edge of the bed, his joints slightly stiff from sleep, the room cool and dim around him. Then he opened the curtains. Bright morning sunlight entered the bedroom gently, warm light stretching across the floorboards. And standing there, he noticed something he had ignored for years. Morning itself felt different now, more noticeable, more valuable somehow, because awareness changes experience. When people stop assuming moments are unlimited, they begin paying attention differently. And attention changes everything. The man who had that quiet realization could not stop thinking about it. Not fearfully, not obsessively, just honestly. He began noticing how often he postponed meaningful things. Small things mostly. Phone calls, visits, experiences. Conversations he intended to have someday. One afternoon, he opened an old photo album while sitting near the kitchen table. Sunlight, falling softly across the pages. He paused at a picture taken nearly 20 years earlier. Friends smiling together during a summer barbecue. Some of those people were gone now. Others had moved far away. And suddenly, he realized how many moments disappear quietly without announcement. No one tells you, this will be the last summer like this. This will be the final holiday everyone is together. This conversation will not happen again. Life rarely announces endings clearly, which is why people often miss their importance while they are happening. That evening, he called an old friend he had not spoken with in months. At first, the conversation felt ordinary, casual, comfortable. But after hanging up, he felt unexpectedly emotional, not sad, grateful, because he realized how easily meaningful connection can be delayed, and delayed, and delayed again, until eventually, time quietly changes what is still possible. The next few weeks, he started making small adjustments in his life. Nothing dramatic. He simply became more present. When family visited, he listened more carefully. During walks, he paid attention to the sunlight, the movement of trees, the rhythm of his steps. Even simple meals felt different when he stopped rushing. One of the quietest forms of regret comes from assuming there will always be more time later. More time to reconnect, more time to slow down, more time to enjoy life properly. But over time, people begin realizing something difficult. Not everything repeats forever. Certain walks happen for the last time. Certain traditions quietly end. Certain conversations disappear without warning. And this realization can feel heavy at first. The man experienced this one evening while sitting alone in the bedroom. The house completely quiet. Night settled outside the window. He adjusted the pillow behind his back and found himself thinking about years that had passed almost unnoticed. How quickly routines become decades. How easily important things get postponed. And like many people later in life, he began understanding that time feels faster, partly because attention decreases. When days become automatic, memory compresses them. Routine blurs experience together. But emotionally meaningful moments feel different. They stay vivid, detailed, memorable. This is why presence matters psychologically. The brain remembers emotionally engaged experiences more deeply. Not because they last longer, because they are experienced more fully. That night, sleep did not come immediately. He turned over beneath the blanket, staring quietly into the darkness, thinking about how many evenings in life had passed without truly being noticed. And yet, instead of feeling hopeless, he felt aware, because awareness creates possibility. Once people recognize the value of time, their choices often begin changing naturally. Less unnecessary delay, less emotional distraction, more intentional living. The next morning, he decided to walk somewhere different. Not far, just a different path through a nearby park. Sunlight filtered softly through the trees. His walking pace slow and steady. And while moving quietly through the morning air, he noticed something important. Life still contained beauty, still contained connection, still contained meaningful moments, but only if he remained present enough to experience them. Living with awareness of time does not mean living with fear. It means living with intention. The man slowly began changing small daily habits. Instead of postponing visits, he made plans sooner. Instead of staying inside automatically, He walked more often during the morning. Simple walking beneath sunlight became calming somehow. The rhythm of movement helped him think more clearly, helped him feel connected to the present moment again. And physical activity influences emotional awareness more than many people realize. Walking reduces mental stagnation, supports emotional regulation, improves focus. Sometimes the clearest thinking happens during quiet movement. Other days, he practiced something even simpler: attention. When someone spoke to him, he listened fully instead of half distracted by other thoughts. At first, these changes felt subtle, almost insignificant. But over time, they transformed the emotional texture of his life. Moments no longer felt rushed together. Days no longer disappeared as quickly. Because presence stretches experience psychologically. People often remember attentive days more vividly than distracted weeks. He also stopped delaying certain emotional things. Apologizing, expressing appreciation, reaching out to people, not because he feared running out of time tomorrow, because he finally understood something simple. Meaning loses depth when constantly postponed. One afternoon, he visited a nearby lake he had not seen in years. He sat quietly watching sunlight move across the water. No urgency, no schedule, just stillness, thinking, reflecting. And for the first time in a very long while, he did not feel trapped inside routine. He felt awake inside his own life again. There comes a moment for many people when time stops feeling abstract, stops feeling endless, and begins feeling real. Not in a tragic way, in an honest way. The story of that quiet realization is not really about fear of aging. It is about awareness. Awareness that moments are temporary. Conversations are temporary. Experiences are temporary. And strangely, that truth often makes life more meaningful, not less. The man eventually understood something deeply important. Life had always been valuable, but he had spent many years assuming he would notice it later. Someday, when things slowed down, when there was more time. But meaning is rarely found later. It is found in attention now, in presence now, in connection now, and after many years, caring for older adults. I believe this may be one of the most important truths about aging and life itself. People suffer less from time passing than from not fully experiencing the time they had. Because sometimes, the most powerful change in life begins with one quiet realization.